I did say that we are in E3 season. That means that there is all kinds of news, good, bad, and everything in between. Now I'd like to share a quote that is relevant to what we're going to talk about today. We want to ensure that you receive the best, most polished version of them. That's right, folks. This is part of a tweet that I will share with you in today's video about games that have just been announced to have delays, and what that will mean for the Summer Game Fest going forward. So welcome to LeftPawGaming. Today, we will talk about the tweet that made it known that a couple of huge games are getting delays, and what those mean in the current climate, and our gaming future. So if you are excited to hear my take on all of that, then like this video and subscribe if you are brand new. Ring that notification bell so you stay up to date with all of my game walkthroughs and news videos just like this that I post all week long. And leave a comment with your thoughts about anything covered in today's video. With all that aside, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let's jump in. A couple of weeks ago, Xbox and Bethesda announced their game showcase. Last week, Summer Game Fest gave the official date to their showcase, which is officially going to kick off the reveal season. This week, we get a sad and, while not surprising, the seemingly par for the course news that more games have been delayed. So, without further ado, we see on May 12th, Bethesda sharing this tweet. We've made the decision to delay the launches of Redfall and Starfield to the first half of 2023. The teams at Arcane Austin for Redfall and Bethesda Game Studios for Starfield have incredible ambitions for their games, and we want to ensure that you receive the best, most polished versions of them. We want to thank everyone for their excitement for Redfall and Starfield. That energy is a huge part of what inspires us every day and drives our own excitement for what we are creating. We can't wait to share our first deep dive into the gameplay for both Redfall and Starfield soon. Thank you for your support. I mean, come on! I just shared my hype for both of these games, and while the hype doesn't disappear, it does already put a bit of a damper on this year's E3 season. But we could have all called this news, right? It was either share this before the showcase to get everyone ready, but then come out swinging with all kinds of new information and videos about what we can expect from these games, or we get that awesome information and then get deflated during or just after generating all the hype. While disappointing, I think this move better sets up Bethesda for hugely successful marketing cycles with both of these games. Think about it. The last we heard of Redfall was that it was supposed to launch this summer, and we have had zero news on it. So they either wanted to surprise drop a release on us and cash in on the unexpected hype and having a sweet trailer or gameplay footage just to say, here you go, buy it now, or in reality, the sad reality, not release anything because they needed time to get the game in a state that they could be really happy about. Clearly, it's the latter, which is the same with Starfield, whose release was supposed to be this year on 11/11/22, but even a game that much further out needed some more care. The worst part of this news with Starfield is that I have to wait even longer to chop wood in space. Looks like I will have to spend some more of my time in Skyrim before I can chop down some interplanetary trees. But I get it. I really do. But I do feel that the big companies pulling the strings and setting these release dates don't quite get it. They just can't, right? COVID made such a huge splash across the world, and the effects on gaming are still there. For one, COVID taught the world's businesses that you can trust your employees to work from home. But in such a collaborative setting such as game dev, it's made a little bit more difficult. Having not been a developer, I can only assume how the conversations on initial release dates get out there. But something about that conversation needs to change to reflect the reality of the world we live in. COVID shot delays everywhere, but we also have to take into account the incredible amount of details and depth that the games in this age are capable of, and these big companies need to adjust their strategy accordingly. I know that at the end of the day, it's all about the Benjamins, but I think more can be made up front on the initial launch if the marketing cycle is not interrupted with delay after delay. Now, that's it about my rant on gaming delays and a bit about how I feel it can affect the gaming landscape. Now, I do want to touch on one glaringly obvious point about that Bethesda tweet. we can't wait to share our first deep dive into the gameplay for both Redfall and Starfield soon. Which in reality, I think it should have read, tune in to the Summer Game Fest Showcase and the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase, where we will share our first deep dives into the gameplay of both Redfall and Starfield. To me, the news of the delay doesn't really change much for how the showcases would have played out, outside of the fact that I was really kind of hoping for an announcement that Redfall would either be coming out at the end of the show or that the release was a little bit later in June. We are still going to get a ton of news that will play out the same way. New trailers at the Summer Game Fest Showcase, followed by deeper dives at the Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase. Now, all in all, it is a bit upsetting to see two of the games I was most excited for to have more news getting pushed back, when I really thought that we were so close to Redfall. The worst part is that I'm really not surprised. That by itself is upsetting because we are now being conditioned to expect that our next gaming experiences are constantly being delayed. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know in the comments about how you feel the new status quo of games seemingly being constantly delayed, even though we all really know that it's for the better of the games in question. And tune in next Thursday and we will cover more game news leading up to the biggest festival of the summer, Summer Game Fest. As usual, thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will see you guys in the next video.